Welcome to the podcast, Entrepreneur Perspectives, building and protecting your business one podcast at a time, a Kessource family production. In this episode, we discuss running multiple businesses, managing multiple toddlers, and the best party ever. Our guest today is Tonya Terry. Tonya is the owner of Tonya Nicole Event Planning, BalloonZ, and co-owner of To the T Party Planning. Tonya currently lives in Raleigh, North Carolina, and is a mother of 3 young children. You will hear Tonya and I discuss these 5 topics: running multiple businesses, social media for event planners, partnering with a 4-year-old, pleasing your clients, and the ultimate party. And then get ready for a wave of rapid-fire questions. All right. Let's bring in the party and event planner, Tonya Terry. Tonya, welcome to the Entrepreneur Perspectives podcast. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
Excellent. So have to know, when did you realize that you had a skill for party planning?
Oh boy. So I realized that I had a gift for party planning way back before I even started it as a business. I planned all of my grandmother's birthday parties, my friends' birthday parties, Easter celebrations, everything that you can think of. People would call on me to plan. So it was very early that I found out. I've always been in arts and design. So I found it fun just to create beautiful things.
That's great. So, and what's funny too is so many entrepreneurs we talk to, they had, whether they realized it or not, they were doing these things at such a young age, or they were doing something related to it, and they didn't know that was going to be their career. But what's so cool about it is it's obviously a passion of yours. If you were just doing it, when you were younger, and now you're continuing to do it as your livelihood, clearly you're living out your passion.
Absolutely. I think that's important too, that we reach back into what we did at the beginning as an adult and realize that is our passion.
Yep, absolutely. So you're involved in a lot, right? Because you have the day-to-day operations of your event planning business, your party planning with your friend, Taja Evans. You have a balloon company with the help from your daughter. So it sounds like there's maybe 3 companies going on here, and I would probably venture to say you probably have other little side projects too going on. So what is it like running these 3 companies on a day-to-day basis, everything else that you have going on?
Yeah, you're right. I have so many different things that I'm working on. I feel like I'm considered like a serial entrepreneur. But it's very intense running all 3 of the businesses that I have established right now every day. And also with managing 3 small toddlers. So it's kind of the same. If you have kids and you have toddlers, it's like running 3 businesses. It's hectic. Everybody needs attention. Everybody needs diaper changes. Everybody needs something. So all of your businesses, they need the same attention as well.
I get it, because I have 3 kids myself, and it's, you have 3 different businesses with each one of those kids. They're not a business, right? We're not trying to compare them to being a business, but they all need certain attention. Like I have a dog too, and the dog needs, someone's got to take him out, feed him, throw the ball to him, make sure he's using up his energy, right? There's so much going on, and to manage that. And then that's a great analogy to compare it. And we love creating analogies in here to compare it in a way to the different businesses you're running. Are you able to align all of these things together? So you probably think about work a lot, right?
I do. The funny thing is I took some time off from work after I did real estate for a few years. I took some time off and I had kids, and I realized that managing these 3 lives was very hectic. So I had to learn a balance. So then when I jumped back into working in entrepreneurship, I compared to that, and it became a little bit easier. So I treat these businesses like my babies. I give them the attention they need, like each one of them every day, whether it be using social media, email lists, or anything that I have to do in regards to them. I treat them like my little babies.
I love that. We were just creating a blog post, and we haven't released it yet. We're kind of working on it. It's in editing mode right now, but it's about, we look to see who cares, right? Who actually cares about the business, whether it's a client of yours or a vendor or a partner or someone else. Does the person that we're talking to on the other end or in that meeting, do they truly care about the work that they're doing? And that's what we gets excited. That's what gets us excited when we have these interviews on these podcasts, is because we get to talk to entrepreneurs like yourself who have this care about the work that they're doing to a level that, and I'm not saying other people don't, but you have it to this level that a lot of people don't have that. You get excited about it. You get excited about your work. So when I would see that you're running these 3 businesses, you have your 3 toddlers, you're doing all the other things that you're doing, but it's all aligned to who you are, Tonya. And I think that, I would assume, makes it easier for you, but at the same time, just it keeps your brain moving nonstop.
Yeah, I'm one person, so I have a lot to do, but I'm very passionate about it. And like you said, when you're passionate about something and you love it, it becomes easier. It's not a job. It becomes like like I said, like your little baby, like something that you nurture and help grow.
Yeah. So you're talking about your baby. So you had your 4-year-old daughter helped you build this balloon company. Tell us what that journey was like.
You know what? That was an amazing journey, because I realized that what you do, your kids see every single day. And it's more about the example that you set. I feel like you can say anything and they may not listen, but when you do something, they see it and they want to duplicate. So my daughter would see me plan these parties and gather all these different details of the party every week to go with my business partner, Taja, to plan these parties. And she would get so excited, and she's like, Mommy, I want to do something. What can I do? So one day, just out of the blue, like after she got accepted into Ravenscroft and everything, she's like, Mommy, I want to help pay for my tuition. And I'm like, why would you want to do that? I guess she overheard me saying how very expensive it would be. And she said, I'm going to start my own business. And I said, well, what are you going to do? And she's like, I'm going to add balloons to your already to the tea business. And I said, you know what, baby, that would be great. What should we name it? And she said, BalloonZ. So I said, okay. So we named the company BalloonZ, and I said, I just put a spin on it. I added a Z, and we called it BalloonZ. And now she has her own business. We have business meetings. We meet at different restaurants, and I have her sit down and scribble in her notebook to pretend as if we're having a business meeting. And she loves it. She absolutely loves it.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's so great, because those are the ideas that you and your business partner might come up with. Like, you know what? I think we have this idea for a new product. We can offer balloons, as part of our business. You see so many companies, they create these side products, like huge companies and small companies are doing this all the time. And here comes your daughter who is watching you. So we're talking a little bit before about the alignment aspect. Obviously it is aligned because your daughter's watching it and she's inspired by it. And that is, right, that's as real as it gets, because she's going to tell you exactly how she feels. I got to go to the bathroom. I got to do this. I want to build a balloon company. And I think that's amazing, and that must make you incredibly proud and inspired to build that thing up and make it, like, who knows, maybe one day that is her business and she's got the biggest balloon company in the world, or maybe not. Maybe she does something totally different, but the experience and what she's going to get from it, it's going to live forever, and it's got to have you just so, like I said before, so proud.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm so proud of her. Like, she helps me to pick out the balloons. Wherever we go, she tells people, I have a balloons shop. You can go to my website at balloons.shop. I mean, she does all kinds of shameless plugs everywhere.
Yeah, I love it. She's selling already. It's like she's probably got because you guys are talking about the marketing aspect, and then she's out there, telling the story, but she obviously believes in the product. So it's amazing to see someone like that who can believe in a product at such a young age, because it is truly genuine. As long as you believe in what you're doing, I mean, it's going to resonate with somebody. Not everybody, but that's okay, right? You can't please everybody. So it resonates with the right people. Yeah. So your mainline business, if I understand correctly, is the event planning, and it's an incredibly competitive industry. So are you using social media to stand out? What are you doing to stand out from that crowded field of event planning?
I think being able to be consistent with your social media and marketing is very important when standing out as an event planner. I utilize everything from hashtags to tagging, inspirational photos. I really rely on social media to help me to stand out in that industry, because there are some veterans in the industry and they're not really familiar with a lot of the social media that we have the pleasure of knowing about. So I utilize that to help me to be competitive and to display my work and to meet new clients. I mean, I just use it for everything.
Okay.
From marketing to, networking.
Now, are you using Instagram? Is it Facebook, or what are your favorite social media apps to use?
My favorite, of course, has to be Instagram, because with the event planning business, it's about visuals. And I believe that before you get to read anything, Instagram gives you a visual. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it gets people connected and gets them to be able to see who you are and what you do.
Yeah.
And I believe, visuals can translate a lot of passion that you have, what you choose to post and how often you post. Like you said, you have to be passionate about your business, and that's most important, to let people know about your business, and how you represent it, and being passionate about it is important, I guess.
Right. So for event planning, and there's so many different types of event planners that are out there. You have the corporate, you have the personal, you have this very specific, like a wedding or a party. What is your focus for event planning?
So right now my focus is, with To the T, our primary focus is like kids parties and parties. So we're not necessarily event planning on that side. We're party planning, so to speak. So we want to plan the party, create the experience. As far as my other event planning company, Tonya Nicole, that I'm more focused on bringing a party in a sleek atmosphere to your corporate event, because now, everybody wants a photo opportunity, and even if you're at work, you want people to know that your job is not so stale and not so streamlined. You want to know that you can have fun, and you can have creative ideas and things integrated into your meetings. I like to partner with the marketing team that are already on staff at these corporate businesses, mm-hmm. Just to bring a little bit of flair to what they're already doing, so that their employees can have a little bit of fun,
Absolutely. So yeah, it's interesting because we go to meetings, right? I've been to a lot of meetings, and you go to ones that stand out. There's something about it, whether it was something that was very unique to that event, whether it was the speakers that they had, whether it was the location, mm-hmm. the food. There's got to be something there, because there's more events nowadays than ever before, and that's just going to keep happening. And kind of like you're saying, there's people who have been in the event planning business for so long that are kind of doing it what they've always done, and that's pretty typical, I tell you, from in all industries, and they can have a lot of success. But you're like, what you're saying is the change is here. The event planning business in many ways is maybe not being disrupted, but it's changing. The tools of sure. getting people is changing, and social media is opening the doors for things that that didn't exist 20 years ago. But there's a lot. I've always said, and I'm not someone who just hosts a lot of parties, but we've done parties. We've done the RSVP list. So we've been in that in a personal sense, or maybe a little bit of the business sense. But you don't realize what all goes into an event until you actually plan the event, and you realize, oh my goodness, like this is a lot of work. Some people think, well, no, event planners, it's pretty easy. And I'm like, no, it's not easy at all. Like, it is impossible just to even get people to make sure they show up to the event. And that's just one small aspect of it. Like, is it stressful? Does it drive you crazy? Or do you like living in that kind of, in that world?
I absolutely love living in that world. Like, it's something about it, to speak with a person, to grab their ideas and bring to life what they have in mind, and also add a little bit of extra flair of your own. Like, I really, really love it. And I've always had that passion about designing and creating something beautiful. So to translate from an idea all the way to executing the event, it's just like, I love it. I'm passionate about it. It's not a job. It's not something that's hard for me to do.
Okay, that's what you need to have, right? And anything that you're doing, I think if you live in that space and you're okay with it, then that's the best part of it all. So one thing we see a lot, just in business, we're doing podcasts, and we're talking about video and creating content, and a lot of content is live speaking. Are you responsible for finding speakers for these events, because so many people are trying to do that?
I actually, prior to doing, I've been in a lot of different industries. So it depends on the client. If they require me to do that, that's something that I can do. I don't necessarily do it with my event planning company now. But I do have a lot of connections in the entertainment industry. So Some of my clients nowadays do want speakers, and those are some people that I have and will reach out to in order to get, like, cross promotion, or, speakers, or hosting, or appearances, things like that. So it's good that I have those previous connections, and I'd love to partner with a business or someone who is interested in maybe bringing someone on as a speaker of that kind.
Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense too. And you think about it, all the different connections you make from the business that you're working with, or the people that are putting on the event or party, corporate event, to the speakers that you possibly might hire, or anybody else that's involved with it. Now I would imagine, because it's such an event, right, to put on, you build these relationships with these people over time, and these people are then going to find out, wait, Tonya, what else do you do? So it's almost like your work of putting the event on becomes your content in many ways, that you can just document, put on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. And then they're like, oh, by the way, I have a 7-year-old daughter and I want to have the best birthday party ever for her. Can you help me do that? And it was like, wow, that's pretty cool that all of these, your worlds don't seem that far apart anymore. They really are together. And people from the outside who might not have saw it that way are like, oh, wow, I get it now.
Absolutely. So I've been very strategic about the endeavors that I've started, and that's why I went with corporate event planning. If you don't want me to do that, then definitely I can plan your kid's party. If you don't want me to plan it, I can provide some amazing balloons for my daughter's company. I just try to have a little bit of everything to offer people. You know what I mean? And I think it's important for marketing, branding, to have those connections, like you said.
And that's where it is, right? Because it's the connections. It's not that, some people would see it, well, you're just trying to do everything and you're too many things, so I don't know what you do. Where I would see it more as, you're just the person to go to. Here's my problem, you figure this out. Or here's what I'm trying to accomplish, you make this happen. And then it trickles down from there, as opposed to, well, I have this business and that business and that business. I think if people like yourself or other people who are like you can get it to the point of bringing you more to the top, and being the person that they want to talk to, or the company or the brand that they represent. It might be your team of people behind you or next to you that are they're actually making these things happen. Then they just need to go there and not worry about all the different brands or businesses or ideas that you have behind it. You're going to help implement all those different ideas with you starting, and you're in your team at the top.
Absolutely.
So with event planning being such complicated and competitive, you have to please your clients. In our marketing business, it's you have to, right? They're constantly looking for ways, like, wait a second, is this working? Is this not working? I thought this was going to happen. Now what do I do? And sometimes you have to explain it and talk to them about it. How do you go about making sure that people are pleased with all the work that you're doing?
So at the beginning, I try to set the best expectations for my clients, just so that we won't run into any issues. But as you know, I have 3 toddlers under 5, so I'm very, very, very talented at, putting out fires and actually, bringing together different ideas and making sure that the clients have an idea at the beginning of what to expect from our collaboration.
So it's an expectation. So you're setting the table, if you will, early on, so they understand it. And then, so if you're throwing up an event from my company and you've set the expectation, and I come to you, let's say this is a process, right? This could be weeks later where we're talking about something and I have an issue with it. You're going to remind me of the expectation that you set, or how would you go about handling that?
With that, we would, if there's anything that changes, like I've had a client most recently who changed several things in their event. Communication is everything. So I'll set the expectation. We'll come together on what you expect from me and what I expect for you to provide for me so that I can execute. But if anything changes, I believe that communication is the most important thing.
Right.
Communicating with your clients on a weekly or even a daily basis, just to make sure that you're on the same page.
Yes. No, I can understand that. So, and I can tell just by your tone of voice and the conversations that we've had that you're very leveled, right? Nothing's going to freak you out one way or the other. You have 3 toddlers. Like, how could anything, freak you out at this point, right?
Absolutely not, And like I was saying, I've been in several industries and done a lot of different work. And previously, prior to real estate, I did personal assisting for some high-end celebrity clients, and they have the most outrageous, crazy requests.
Yep.
Different times, and I can't get, like you said, I can't get freaked out by anything. Like,
yeah,
I've seen and heard.
You've seen it all. So, are you dealing with like athletes, entertainers?
Yes, both of those.
Okay. And I can imagine, I mean, they're crazy schedules, right? And just so many people pulling in so many different directions, and things could change at
crazy
a moment.
Schedule, crazy demand. There's always media there. Like, I have to deal with a lot of things, and I've just kind of trained myself to just know that with whatever happens, it'll get taken care of. Like,
right.
it's not the end of the world if anything happens,
Yep.
So.
No, that makes sense. So with, how did you make connections in that space? A lot of people are coming and they say, hey, I want to support that type of industry. And athlete entertainer industry that's a different kind of industry to get involved in. It's very niched. It's very specific. You have to know people. Like, did you make connections at a young age with certain people in there that were able to connect you? Or how did you, and it's not just athletes, entertainers, it's anytime you're trying to go after a niche, right? That you have to just understand how that market works.
Yeah, so I got into that industry just simply by connections. My brother was in the music industry for a very long time, and he connected me with a few of his friends, and then, word of mouth, some other people connected me with their friends. It just happened just that way,
Okay.
It was like, just networking, basically.
Yeah, and that's how you're driving business today, is networking, word of mouth. Do your events become the catalyst for the next event? So if we host an event,
Absolutely.
We have business owners there, and a business owner is going to find out who you were, and they're going to contact me, and I'm going to say, oh, you got to call Tonya, she's the best. Is that where you're getting most
Absolutely.
of your business?
That's where I'm getting most of my business, partner with social media.
Yeah.
I think it's important to build relationships, whether at the end of the event you were pleased or displeased, whatever it is, we need to talk about it, and we need to know how moving forward we can be better.
Okay.
And I'm very big on never, ever burning a bridge. We may walk away from each other with, agreeing to disagree, but I don't necessarily ever burn a bridge. You know what I mean? Relationships are so important. They're cash to me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, and now you're doing your work and you're working on an event, and I'm always interested with business owners to find out, like, it seems like all the event planning aspects, like the big things that you're working on and talking with clients, is the main thing that you're doing. But there's always like little things in there. Like, I could see an event planner, I don't know, if you're having to call hotels and negotiate contracts, if you're having to write contracts, if you're having to, deal with the people, the speakers or a flower person. Like, what do you see as like one of the biggest things that you have to invest your time in when it comes to an event that people on the outside just wouldn't even think of that being a big time suck for you?
I would say just like brokering deals, like, whether it be like a venue or it would be like a flower person, just brokering those deals and making sure that everything fits into the client's budget. Budgeting is important when dealing with different people on different levels. Everyone has a different idea of what they want to spend and what they want to budget for their event. Some are realistic, some are very unrealistic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I spend a lot of time on that just to make sure that we find the perfect vendor, the perfect venue, the perfect everything that's
just brokering all those little deals. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. No, that's good. And there's just so much different types of talents you need in so many different industries. And that's what I see, like event planning. You can do a search on LinkedIn or social media or anywhere, internet, and so many event planners come up. And it's like, well, what differentiate? And that's like a lot of industries, right? Like a fitness trainer or someone in marketing or just you name it. And it's like, how do you differentiate yourself? And, I think the things that you're talking about are very cool with, just you're aligned in your life. You're showing your examples with your existing clients. You had to get started somewhere, and you build that out. So we appreciate you sharing all those stories of you and your business and how your balloon company was formed and just everything else that you have going on. So it's very exciting. We know a lot of different people, so hopefully we can continue to connect even after this podcast and talk about ways we can help you out. So very exciting. Again, thank you for sharing all that. So what we like to do now is move on to the more of a rapid fire approach where we ask you a quick question and you give us whatever comes to mind. Very simple stuff, things that you should know. They're about you and your business. So you ready for that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. This first one might be a little longer for you, but we just have to know, what's the best party you have ever thrown or attended?
The best party I've ever thrown or attended, it was probably one that I'd thrown in LA. I did it for some celebrity clients, Fetty Wap and Masika Kalisha of Love and Hip Hop. We did their daughter's first birthday, and it was so much fun. It was a Barbie theme. We did Barbie boxes. It was amazing.
Oh, wow. Was that recently?
Yeah, that was last year. So her birthday is coming up again. They've hired us to do that one. So
very cool.
What the theme is.
Yeah, and so when you do this, and I know this is like a rapid fire, but I just have to know, so when you do this, are you able to, when you have a celebrity and athlete, let's say, are you able to take pictures and videos and use that and post on social media?
Absolutely. If you go to our Instagram at To The T Party Planning, you'll see the video, a small video clip of her family and his family, everybody coming together for the daughter's first birthday, and it was absolutely amazing.
Okay, we're going to check that out. We'll put that in the show notes as well so other people can go check it out. So what is your favorite city to travel to?
I'm a little biased. I'm a West Coast girl. I would have to say Los Angeles.
There you go.
I've come to love LA. I just really have. Hollywood is very fun. It's exciting. There's plenty of clients to be had there. I mean, I just love it.
Yeah.
You have like the flower district, you have the fashion district, everything that you need as an event planner is there.
Yes, right. You don't have to go very far. So on those long trips from North Carolina out to LA or any other time you have to kill time, what is your favorite thing to do to kill time?
Oh, man. I have to say anything that ends with party, planning party, looking at parties, anything that has to do with parties. I do a lot of research. I look at a lot of stuff that's going on in the in the world today, what people are doing, and I just do a lot of research. I really love to research my craft and perfect what I'm doing and see what's going on in other parts of the country. I know Australia has an amazing event planning, like their decor is completely different, so I do a lot of research.
Yeah, so you're living it. You're living it. But if I were to tell you were not going to be in event planning anymore, what career would you be in?
I would be in real estate. I really love to broker deals. I love homes. I love home decor. So yeah, I'd be in real estate.
Okay, so I think you've already answered this one, but let's touch on it real quick. You said Instagram was your favorite social media app. Name another social media app that you love.
That's a hard one.
Or is it just Instagram?
You know what? I would say it's just Instagram. Instagram just does it for me as far as the visuals. Like, they just take you all over the world just with one click of a button, and you get to see so much. You know, it's not necessarily like a whole drawn out like paragraph of someone's life or how their day was. You get to see stuff.
Yeah. Makes sense. So now talking about seeing stuff and reading stuff, if you had the choice between reading a book, hardcover, paperback, or reading it on a Kindle or Kindle app, which would you choose?
I would say reading is for books. Social media is for like technology. I don't necessarily want to read my book on an iPad or anything like that. It's just not the same.
Yeah. So now if you had the choice between reading a blog or listening to a podcast, what would you do?
I would say a podcast. I like podcasts. I like to hear and drive. I like to multitask.
Yeah. So if you walk into a restaurant and you have an option to sit at the bar or sit at a table, what do you choose?
I'll sit at a table. I'm all about tables or booths just because it's more intimate, and I feel like big decisions are made at tables.
I like it. You and your daughter deciding on the future of your balloon company, right?
Exactly.
So we have a big question we ask all of our guests. Some are into sports, some are not. We are into sports. If you could only cheer for one sports team, what sports team would that be?
Of course it would be Duke. I know we lost, but it would be Duke for sure. My son, his name is Cameron. So we did his first birthday party, a Duke themed party, and he took his first photos at the Cameron Indoor.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. There you go. So, yeah, well, Duke lost the ACC, but when we were recording this, the NCAA tournament is about to start. This is on a Wednesday. The tournament starts tomorrow, so Duke's got as good as chance of a lot of other teams out there. So maybe you guys get another championship. You guys have won a lot of championships over the last couple decades, it seems like.
Yeah, we shared last year, but yeah, we'll probably take it this year. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah, so it's not a claim to fame because I'm not a Duke fan, just being honest. But the high school that I went to is the same high school that Christian Leitner went to up in Buffalo, New York. So
okay, cool.
yeah, a lot of Duke fans seem to like that. But Tonya, I really do appreciate the time you spent with us. I think you might even have a toddler near you, and I love that because it just shows the raw. It's just, we're out here doing our thing, right? And sometimes a dog shows up, a kid shows up, a business partner shows up, and you got to keep rolling with it. And you did exactly that, and we appreciate it. And like I said earlier, you keep it level. You didn't change it all, so I think that's awesome. And we'll definitely put a lot of stuff in the show notes about where they can find you on Instagram, your website, get in touch with you. Thank you again, Tonya, for the time that you spent, the information you've given us, and you have a great journey ahead, and we'll be excited to watch that unfold.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Tonya, it was absolutely awesome having you on this podcast. From the experience you bring in the event planning world to your journey running multiple businesses, we're all better off for taking some time to learn from you. The perspectives from Tonya on aligning her many businesses are now perspectives you as a business owner and entrepreneur can use for yourself. And for that, Tonya, thank you. And for any entrepreneur with questions on all things event and party related, feel free to reach out to Tonya. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me directly. You can contact me on Twitter at Eric_Kaz with the same name on Instagram, or you can find us at KazSource.com with links to us on the different social networks. Thank you for listening to our KazSource podcast, Entrepreneur Perspectives, building and protecting your business one podcast at a time. Till next time, we're out of here. This podcast exists in large part because of KazCM, the content marketing business inside KazSource Inc. KazCM is excited to bring the content marketing services used at KazSource to you. Learn more by visiting KazCM.com. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. It's a big deal to us. We hope you found value in it, and if you did, we would be incredibly grateful if you gave us a review on iTunes. Remember to subscribe to this podcast and feel free to share it with anyone you know. More than anything, thank you again for listening. We appreciate it.